From the nation's capital, Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. A weekly discussion about the federal issues most important to Nevada. And now, from Washington, D.C., here's Marilee Joyce.
And good day to you. I'm Marilee Joyce, and this is Eye on Washington, the only statewide Nevada news program produced in Washington, D.C. Every week, Eye on Washington takes you straight to Capitol Hill for a discussion with Nevada's delegation and other leaders about the federal matters that matter to you. Today's topics: the growing concern among top manufacturers about the supply of minerals and metals, and the growing hope that Nevada and other mining areas might see a big improvement in the mine permitting process. My very special guest today is Mr. Hal Quinn, the President and CEO of the National Mining Association. Thanks so much again for being here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be with you again, Marilee.
Appreciate it. Occasionally on Eye on Washington, we are privileged to bring you exclusive one-on-one interviews with leaders of top Nevada industries, and today I'm joined once again by Hal Quinn, who heads the Washington, D.C.-based National Mining Association, the industry's representative on Capitol Hill. And today on Eye on Washington, we're going to detail a report on a big concern among companies that rely on metals, minerals, and other natural resources for their products. We'll tell you about the long, cumbersome mine permitting process and why my guest says it's hindering jobs in Nevada and elsewhere. We'll tell you about the partnership between the NMA and the Nevada Congressional Delegation, and we're going to close out today's program with news of a giant mining event coming this year to Las Vegas. Well, worldwide population growth means consumption growth, and that means a higher demand for the resources that make the things we consume. Now, those resources include the dozens of minerals and metals mined in Nevada, which are needed by the products we all rely on every day. Now, last year, my guest, Mr. Quinn, appeared on this show to tell us of the efforts on the Hill to ensure the U.S. has a stable mineral supply. Well, now comes a PricewaterhouseCoopers report about a supply concern among senior executives from 7 manufacturing industries across 3 world regions. The executives surveyed believe that, driven by demand, the impact from mineral scarcity will increase substantially in the next 5 years, and that such scarcity could lead to supply instability and product disruptions. Imagine this. They believe the impact will be felt throughout the entire supply chain. And Mr. Quinn, first of all, welcome back to Eye on Washington. This is your 4th appearance in just the short time you've, well, not that short now, but since you've been the leader of the NMA, so welcome back to our show.
Thank you so much for having me again.
You know, so here we are again. We're looking at the importance of an adequate mineral supply. And, you know, now we have this report saying that globally, top manufacturers are looking ahead 5 years and seeing a serious problem.
Well, this report, Marilee, from PwC is just another in a series confirming what we've talked about on your show before, which is the concern about the mineral supply chain. And the executives of these companies in various industries such as automobiles, aviation, high tech, the electronics industry, and aviation all are concerned about will they have the minerals they need on a just-in-time basis, which they're used to in terms of delivery. Sure. But it's not so much about physical scarcity, which is the concern. It's really about do we have the capacity currently to mine and then deliver all those minerals that are going to be needed. You mentioned the growing population. Last year we passed 7 billion people on this planet. And it's just not the growing population, it's the per capita consumption is actually increasing higher than the rate of population growth.
Where in the world are physically are the most concerned corporation heads? Where is it located, and how serious a problem is it for you here as you head the nation's mining industry?
Well, it's really a global concern, but I would say what PwC found was the executives in companies located in Europe, North America, as well as Asia are deeply concerned about this situation. And here in the United States, as we've talked about before here, is that we have a growing dependency on imports for our minerals. In 1990, we were import dependent on about 18, and now today it's about 43, and that's a very troubling trend.
So that growing dependence on imports is why the NMA and why Nevadans watching and listening to this show today, as the top gold mining industry and producer and number 2 on metals and minerals, it's why they should be concerned as well.
Well, they should be concerned in the sense that that it's the entire supply chain in terms of the customers and so forth that are going to be impacted by this. So businesses beyond mining ought to be deeply concerned about this.
You know, the report said a full 50% of the executive surveys called mineral scarcity, quote, a pressing concern for the company. Would you help my audience understand that whole end user situation?
Okay, well, from the larger standpoint, let's take the $64 billion of minerals and materials that our industry produces here in the United States. That later translates into $2.1 trillion of finished product all the way through the economy. That's 15% of our GDP. So if you look at all the emerging energy technologies, heavily dependent on many of these minerals, whether they be lithium, rare earths, copper, vanadium, and things along those lines, you know, for battery storage, energy storage, for solar cells, as well as wind turbines.
And you mentioned, we talked about how population growth equals consumption growth. So when you hit that, when you mentioned the 7 billion, I mean, that's
it's 7 billion, and then the rate of consumption per person is growing at a higher rate than the growth of the population. Let's take, for instance, some of the trends here in terms of just technology and innovation. In 1990, they used about 16 minerals for a computer chip. Well, today it's about 60. And whereas we still had our first generation of cellular telephones and mobile services in the 80s, now there's about $4 billion subscriptions for mobile services globally.
That kind of
growth.
So
those things are changing very rapidly.
So we've outlined the concern as we're wrapping up this segment. What are some of the plans by you as head of the NMA, and what about other leaders in the other concerned areas?
Well, we've been talking to a number of the end users in terms of the segments, in terms of defense industry, aviation, and electronics about some of these concerns. And they do agree that since we're at the front end of the supply chain, if we do want a renaissance in the manufacturing center in our country, we're going to need to make sure that the front end of that supply chain, that is mining, is successful. So what we're looking at is what type of public policies can we have here in the United States that will actually be supportive of expanding our mining capability here. Our miners are the best in the world, but they can only mine up to the extent that their mine allows them to, and we need to expand those operations and need to open up new ones to.
And what is that? How does that concern some of the federal regulations? Or
well, in terms of attracting investment, we certainly need greater regulatory certainty. You can't invest hundreds of millions to billions of dollars in a project only to have the rules of the game change on you several years later. And permitting is a deep issue, a big concern. And
speaking of permitting, that is a deep concern by the National Mining Association and the miners in Nevada, and we're going to talk about that and what can be done to speed up the mine permitting process when Eye on Washington returns right after this.
You're watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Brought to you by the National Mining Association, Caesars Entertainment, the Frias Companies, NV Energy, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the Nevada Mining Association, Western Lithium Corporation, and Skyline Restaurant and Casino.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at nma.org.
You already watch Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's only statewide program produced in Washington, D.C. But for even more news from Capitol Hill that affects you, your family, and your business, you need to read Nevada's Washington Watch, our online newsletter. In-depth reporting on federal efforts that impact you. Our exclusive Inside the Beltway column, putting a microscope on Nevada's congressional delegation. Guest editorials about what Nevada needs from the Hill. Nevada's Washington Watch, your watch on Washington. Subscribe today at nevadaswashingtonwatch.com.
Heads we go, tails we stay. A coin flip. That's how it all began for what is now Nevada's largest transportation provider. Charlie Frias, with a can-do spirit and support of his loving wife Phyllis, bought ABC Union Cab in 1966. They then parlayed 5 cabs into a fleet of nearly 1,000. And today, Frias has over 2,000 employees and was recently voted Las Vegas's best company to work for. Frias, safe, reliable, simply the best.
Hey, it's embarrassing to be tackled by someone smaller than me. I look weak and effeminate, so now I'm overcompensating.
I'd also be very ashamed by that. I'm not waiting until it happens to me to make you feel small.
My dad taught me to be the alpha male, so now I'm gonna knock a tray out of your hands at lunch.
Kids bully for all kinds of reasons. None of them are good. Know your kids' friends and monitor their social networking. Find more tips at flipthescriptnow.org.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our special one-on-one interview with this nation's top mining official. He is my guest today, Mr. Hal Quinn, the president and CEO of the National Mining Association. In this bleak recession, mining has been a bright spot. It's a literal gold mine of economic stability for the Nevada communities that are home to Nevada mines. Nevada ranks 5th in the world for gold production and also produces more than 25 other major minerals and metals. It's 2nd in the nation for mineral and metal mining. But my guest, Mr. Quinn, says mining would be even stronger if only, he says, Capitol Hill would make it easier to mine. According to the Wall Street Journal, obtaining the permits and approvals needed to build a mine in the U.S. takes an average of 7 years. That's among the longest waiting times in this world. And my guest, Mr. Quinn, says that means the U.S. is not attracting the investments in mining that it should. Get this, the current clearing process requires 14 levels of review at the Department of Interior's Washington, D.C. office, adding a full year to an already lengthy review. My guest says its time is long overdue to make the permitting process more efficient while still preserving the time necessary for environmental analysis. And Mr. Quinn, I have a statement for you here lauding those improvements. You say, quote, good mining jobs are created by investment in mining projects, but the United States continues to attract a diminishing share of worldwide investment because of the length, complexity, and uncertainty of our permitting process. And you don't want length, complexity, or uncertainty in this type of thing, do you?
No, not at all. It's the business is complicated enough as it is. In terms of attracting investment, we're only attracting 1/3 of the share of the global exploration budget today that we were as compared to about 20 years ago. And clearly that translates into, we'll show you where the next generation of projects are going, and they're going overseas. And that also translates into the mineral dependency, import dependency we talked about earlier.
I know the Nevada delegation are all big fans of the mining industry. What's the snag on Capitol Hill? Why 7 years and that extra year?
Well, there's been a lot of it has to do with some of the federal process, and to some extent, maybe not so much in Nevada, but other states, the state process, and it's some of it's overlapping and a little bit duplicative. Back in the 1980s, we were getting permits in 2 years or so. And today it's anywhere from 7 to 10, and that's more than just the Wall Street Journal documenting that. The Department of Energy and its critical minerals strategy documents documented that. Bear Dole Bear consistently has found that to be the case, 7 to 10 years over the last 5 or 6 years. Wow. Now we can, in other countries, in Australia, Chile, Canada, they can get permits in 2 years. So you can't tell me that if the Australians get you a permit in 2 years, that we as Americans can't do the same thing. And as you said, the opening, it's not just we want to do it the right way. We want to do the environmental analysis the right way, but surely we can be more efficient.
Well, you and Senator Reid and Senator Heller and other top mining officials have been on this program before to express the frustration and the burdensome difficulties that mines face when getting permits. It should be obvious, I know, but I just want to let you help my audience understand a little. If a country has an easier permitting process, it just follows, of course, that that country is more attractive for investment.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a country that tells you that it welcomes people coming there who want to do something and contribute to their economy. So if we're getting, if a company is going to get a permit in 2 years and putting down a $200 million, $700 million, or $1 billion investment, it's going to get a return on investment much earlier than the 7 years here in the United States. So that's, if it takes us 3 times as long, we're 3 times delayed in terms of a return on the investment. So that's where the money goes.
And let's point out, too, in this continued recession, the recession being so difficult for Nevadans, we have to emphasize that a new mine equals a lot of new jobs. Senator Reid's been on the show talking about, for instance, lithium and Nevada's new gigantic role in lithium. In fact, the vice president of Western Lithium, Dennis Bryan, was on the show at the end of last year. And, lithium, it's the lithium ion batteries in your cell phone and in your smartphone, your computers, etc. And that's just one example of...
Well, it's a great example. And it's not only just more jobs, they're high-paying jobs. In Nevada, those jobs are paid around over $80,000 a year, which is about twice as much as the average heavy industrial job in the state, and that's replicated throughout the country. You talk about lithium, key to emerging technologies such as our electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles. Sure. So there's a lot of opportunity there. There's great opportunities with some vanadium development in Nevada, which is also key to some of the energy storage, as well as alloying materials for our country.
And all good news for Nevada, too.
Absolutely.
Okay. When we come back, let's find out more about the National Mining Association and why it's so important to Nevada. We'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of people in northern Nevada don't get enough to eat. 1 out of 5 children in northern Nevada go to bed hungry every night. But you can do something about it. Catholic Community Services of Northern Nevada has been providing help and creating hope in our community for more than 65 years. By donating food, time, or money, you can make a difference in a hungry person's life. When you make your generous donation to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, you're helping to fight the scourge of hunger in northern Nevada. In these tough economic times, now more than ever, we need to help those less fortunate. To find out how you can donate to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, call, click, or stop by, and together we can end hunger in northern Nevada.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
You already watch Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's only statewide program produced in Washington, D.C. But for even more news from Capitol Hill that affects you, your family, and your business, you need to read Nevada's Washington Watch, our online newsletter. In-depth reporting on federal efforts that impact you. Our exclusive Inside the Beltway column, putting a microscope on Nevada's congressional delegation. Guest editorials about what Nevada needs from the Hill. Nevada's Washington Watch, your watch on Washington. Subscribe today at nevadaswashingtonwatch.com.
Heads we go, tails we stay. A coin flip. That's how it all began for what is now Nevada's largest transportation provider. Charlie Frias, with a can-do spirit and support of his loving wife Phyllis, bought ABC Union Cab in 1966. They then parlayed 5 cabs into a fleet of nearly 1,000. And today, Frias has over 2,000 employees and was recently voted Las Vegas's best company to work for. Frias, safe, reliable, simply the best.
How will new energy technology make our lives better? Will geothermal, wind, and solar energy be a bigger part of our future? Yes. And soon it will all be in our backyard. Learn more at nvenergy.com.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our discussion of top mining issues that matter to the place that is 5th globally for gold mining. That's Nevada. We've been talking with Hal Quinn, the president and CEO of the NMA. Do you have any idea just how important mining is, not just to Nevada's economy, but also to your everyday life? Nevada's second largest industry is crucially important to everyone, every state, every nation. We are dependent on mining for the metals and other minerals needed for so many products, like our smartphones, our televisions, computers, medical equipment. I could do a full show just listing products. So, considering mining's importance, the industry decided a long time ago they needed an advocate here on the Hill. The National Mining Association was formed as a merger of the National Coal Association, founded in 1917, and the American Mining Congress, founded in 1897. Since that merger in 1995, the NMA has been the industry's representative on the Hill. It's the only trade organization that represent mining, and that means Nevada mining before Congress, the administration, federal agencies, the judiciary, and the media. And that means your job, Mr. Quinn, is to strengthen and protect Nevada and this nation's mining interests. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
Tell us a little more about what you do and what the NMA does here on the Hill.
Well, what we do is we like to work with the Congress, all the elected representatives, and advise them on where we see issues that ought to be of concern to them in terms of good public policy that supports mining, and then as mining supports the rest of the country and the economy. We also represent the industry before the various regulatory agencies and, where necessary, in the courts. And we have a very extensive communications program to get the information out about mining and what minerals offer the rest of the country and the world.
Would you remind our audience how you work with Nevada's very pro-mining delegation in your efforts to maybe educate those who are not so pro-mining on the Hill?
Well, you know, the entire delegation, Senators Reed and Heller, you have Representatives Berkeley and Amidei, and then Heck, all very supportive of the industry that's so important to their state and their constituents. And so for us, that's a lot easier job in terms of engaging the Nevada delegation, because they already know the importance and the role of mining in terms of our economy. So
what would be a typical day on the Hill if you were, I know you kind of wear an education hat as part of the many hats that you wear. If you were going to go to, I don't know, maybe someone who's not quite on board with knocking that year off the permitting process or something else that you've been working so hard to, you know, a national mineral policy or what have you, how might you address them, and what are some of the other educational things you do here?
Well, those folks who have, let's say, less of an understanding or appreciation of mining and what it means to their constituents, what we try to do is map it out for them and explain to them why the success of a Nevada miners is so important for the foundries or steel makers, automakers in their states to be successful as well. And clearly the Nevada delegation is very helpful in identifying that connection and connecting the dots for their colleagues.
Okay. When Eye on Washington comes back for our final segment, look out Las Vegas. We got a whole lot of mining companies, miners, mining-related product folks, and everyone else coming your way in September. We're going to tell you about it right after this.
All of us at Caesars Entertainment have something we want to say.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We don't want you to gamble if you've had too much to drink.
You shouldn't gamble if you're lonely or depressed.
And if you're under 21, you're not allowed to play.
No, no, no.
No matter which of our casinos you come to, our message is always the same.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at nma.org.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Built on a fleet of just 5 cabs bought in 1966 by founder Charlie Frias, Frias Transportation is now Nevada's largest transportation provider. Today, Frias has a fleet of nearly 1,000 vehicles and more than 2,000 employees. As an industry and community leader, Frias continues to create the future of transportation technology and management and actively supports the community. continuing the legacy of quality service in the Las Vegas Valley. Simply the best. Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And we're back with our closing segment of Eye on Washington and our moments remaining on this special show with National Mining Association head Hal Quinn. We want to tell you about an event coming to Las Vegas this fall that again emphasizes the strength of Nevada's #2 industry. September 24th kicks off the 3-day Mine Expo International 2012. It's already being billed as the world's largest and most comprehensive exposition dedicated to mining equipments, products, and services. Get this, it'll consume 11 halls in 3 of the convention center's buildings, as well as lots of outdoor space. Mining companies from around the world will show off mining equipment, products, and services. And Mr. Quinn, I know you're excited about this because you told me about this early in 2010. So talk to me about this Mine International Expo and why Nevada should be so excited to be there.
It's a great opportunity for the state to host this world-class show. We've been there for many times. It's a great location. We're going to have about 750,000 square feet of exhibition space of all kinds of products, large equipment, news technologies, and it's very exciting. And we're going to expect 40,000 attendees involved in the mining industry from all over the globe.
And this early in the year, I've heard that reservations are already up 38% over where they were.
They're up 38%. It's a good sign
for the comparable
industry.
Period, I mean, for the last Mine Expo.
Exactly. There's still some space available, but it's closing out fast.
You know, just some of our audience, they're going to think mining companies equals miners down, you know, in the shaft, etc. Mining encompasses so much more than that. Tell us about for every mine, the many products and services related. Think about, first of all, those jobs, but tell us about some of the products and services that people might not think of when they think of mining.
Well, we think about in terms of the direct supporting jobs from the equipment manufacturers, whether it be the haul trucks, the drill rigs, the roof supports, all that technology, various communications equipment and so forth. And then we can go further down the supply chain. And we talk about the products that we make from all the minerals, which we've covered just a little bit earlier.
If a head of a mine, well, be a Nevada company walking today, but a head of a Nevada mining company or the owner of a mining product services related store, if they want to participate in the Mine Expo, what should that person do?
They can go to the website, www.mineexpo.com, and they can get all the information and seek out registration, and if they move soon enough, they might be able to still find some exhibition space.
Yeah, I heard the number of exhibitions also is up 17% over this time.
Absolutely.
It's just that a lot of people are excited, not just you.
And those 3 days will probably pump about $7 million or so into the local economy alone.
And again, it's www.mineexpo.com?
.com.
Okay, not org, .com. I want to thank you so much for being here today. And it's happy to end on such a happy note, and let's hope that the permitting process and some other situations that you're working on come out perfectly for mining.
Thanks so much, Marilee.
Thanks for being here. That does wrap up this week's Eye on Washington. I hope you'll join us next time as we discuss more important federal matters and their impact on Nevada. And for news anytime on how federal news affects you, visit our website, joycecommunications.com. I'm Marilee Joyce in Washington, D.C. Have a great day.